The German chancellor was seated just a few feet away. The cameras were live, an audience of 1.6 million was watching, and yet President Trump confidently pointed to Germany and claimed that the chancellor's father had been born there. It was a striking moment, delivered without hesitation, despite the fact that the statement was plainly at odds with the historical record.
Don't forget, both my parents were born in EU sectors, okay? I mean, my mother was Scotland, my father was Germany.
My father's from Germany. Both of my parents are from the EU.
I have great respect for Angela, and I have great respect for the country. My father is German, right? Was German. Born in a very wonderful place in Germany.
Trump just tacked on a random lie, because, why not? When he was talking about German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
I have great respect for Angela, and I have great respect for the country. My father is German, right? Was German.
Yes. It's true, Frederick Trump was born in a very wonderful place in Germany, New York City, in 1905.
My father was born in a wonderful part of Germany, very West Germany, and...
So, Dermot, what first brought you into show business?
Well, John, it's an interesting question. We haven't got all night, of course, but I don't know how this happened during the break, but this guy's very, very convincing. I'm still here with the brilliant John Cleese and Charlize Theron. John, so you're over here at the moment, spend a lot of time UK, US?
Well, I work a lot in the US because they're such fans of Python, and it's very easy to earn good money there. And I don't have to be here in the winter, which I refuse to do. I mean, people have a bucket list, and I have one thing on my bucket list, which is that I never want to be cold again.
As objectively as you can, if such a thing is possible, have you noticed that America's different now Trump's in power?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
What way, though? Like, we see it obviously here from the news.
It's completely mad.
What, on the ground there, do you feel it?
People don't want to admit how mad it is. But Eric and I were on tour, and we went on stage the night after the election. And we get out in front of 2,000 people, and they're sitting there like this. They cannot believe what's happened. And we said it's our duty to cheer you up tonight. They all roared and clapped, but it's completely mad. I mean, the guy says, 3 days ago? He says, I've sent an armada towards North Korea. And then we find 2 days later that it's actually sailing in the opposite direction. And I think that's what people say, except that the Trump supporters are still at about 38, 39%. They still think he's great.
Yeah.
But these are the stupidest people you've ever met. The one I thought was just wonderful. There was a woman on supporting him, and somebody said, what do you feel about that time when he was recorded on the bus saying, if you'll forgive me saying so, that if you're a celebrity, women expect you to grab them or grab their pussy?
Yeah.
And she said he would never have said that if he'd known he was being recorded.
Yes, it is true. Fred Trump was born in a remarkable place with strong German roots, except that place was the Bronx, New York, in 1905. The historical record leaves no room for doubt. Fred Trump was born in the Bronx on October 11, 1905, a fact documented in public records and reflected in his obituary published by the New York Times. By the time of this exchange, President Trump had already been publicly corrected on this point on 4 separate occasions over 4 different years. Yet, standing alongside the German chancellor, he once again stated with complete confidence that his father had been born in Germany. Stephen Colbert approached the moment differently. He walked to his desk, carrying a single sheet of paper, and unusually dispensed with his customary entrance. Before he spoke, the audience sensed that the document in his hand was central to what was about to follow. He told viewers he had obtained Fred Trump's birth certificate. As the cameras zoomed in, he read the details aloud. Bronx, New York, October 11th, 1905. Not Germany, never Germany. The Bronx. The audience initially laughed, but the reaction quickly shifted. The humor gave way to something more reflective, as the realization settled in that the discrepancy was not merely a passing mistake, but a claim that had repeatedly resurfaced despite previous corrections. Colbert then produced a second document. It contained President Trump's own words from an earlier interview. My father is German, was German, born in a very wonderful place in Germany. He followed that with further reports documenting the same assertion one after another, each accompanied by a public correction. 4 separate corrections across 4 different years. Yet the claim was repeated once again in front of Germany's own chancellor. For many viewers, the significance extended beyond a single factual error. It raised broader questions about credibility and the persistence of statements that have already been publicly contradicted. This, after all, was the same public figure who has repeatedly described his memory as exceptional, highlighted his academic achievements, and pointed to cognitive testing as evidence of his mental sharpness. Yet on this occasion, the birthplace of his own father, a matter established in the public record since 1905, became the subject of another inaccurate public statement. Even members of his own family publicly corrected the claim once again that same day. Colbert concluded by holding up Fred Trump's birth certificate one final time. The document had not changed. It still read, Bronx, New York. Repeated corrections had not altered the historical record, and he quietly placed the certificate back on his desk, allowing the document itself to make the point. The broader issue, Colbert argued, was not simply that the president had made an incorrect statement. It was that the same claim had continued to be repeated despite multiple documented corrections over several years. Whether viewed as a lapse in recollection or a deliberate refusal to acknowledge the established record, the result was the same. A 5th identical statement entered the public record. The following morning, President Trump described his meeting with the German chancellor as a success. He made no reference to the birthplace controversy, did not address the birth certificate, and offered no explanation for the repeated corrections. The discussion moved on. The historical record did not. And that, perhaps, is the wider pattern. The facts remain constant. It is only the narrative that continues to shift. Sometimes the clearest way to understand events is simply to slow them down and examine what was actually said.